I think we're on now. All right, there we go. Welcome to Bet with Bobano. It's Thursday, August 29th. Ian Cameron with you, and we are all set. We are ready for another edition of Bet with Bobano. Today, we've got the rest of the Thursday MLB card to break down and preview, and we also have certainly college football back, and it is a wonderful day. Anytime we can say hello again to college football. I'll give you we can't go through every game on the card in college football, but we will go through the FBS games. There are two of them tonight: North Carolina, Minnesota, Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State. I'll also give you a couple of bets that I've made on the extra board, FCS versus FBS games, maybe even a couple of games down there on the FCS board, which actually kind of have some interest for me tonight as well. So we'll break all of those down. Before we get into the MLB and the college football card for this Thursday, we do, of course, want to mention, as always, Bit Wallet. Make sure you sign up. College football's here. Tonight begins week one, the first full night of the first full slate of the college football season. Try out a cryptocurrency sports book and casino, Bit Wallet. It's the one. It's a great book. They've got all the major sports betting options, all sports, North American, international sports, live betting, and same game parlay live betting, which is super cool that you can actually parlay live wagers within the same game as it's taking place. Live casino dealers as well. Make sure you sign up. bitwallet.bet/affiliate/Ian is the affiliate link. You click that link, sign up for an account with that link, and if after you do that, you will get a 50% deposit bonus, be eligible for a 50% deposit bonus on each of your first three crypto deposits. So make sure you check that out, bitwallet.bet. The subscription, of course, at Dub Club, which is the high volume, a subscription with me every single day, all sports at Dub Club. 1 month, $75. 3 months, all sports, $200. We did have 6 months, all sports for almost 2 months at $250. But that offer expired last weekend. It's back to the regular price at $400. And even then, it's a great bargain. It's 6 months, all sports, $400. You get all the way to end of February, pretty much 2025, the entire NFL and college football season, the rest of the NHL or the CFL and MLB season, a good chunk of the NHL, NBA, college basketball season coming up as well. So that's there, $400, 6 months, all sports, 1 year, all sports, which is also a good time to get in on that because it's basically the full calendar year of sports. See, I consider the calendar year of sports September to September because to me it begins and ends in football season's the beginning of the sports betting year, in my opinion. Even though we think of January to December, as a regular year, I think of the sports betting year as September to September. So this is a great time to sign up for the 1 year subscription at $750. The entire football season, all of the NHL, NBA, college basketball season included in that. So you basically get pretty much the four major sports the full season for it. So 1 year, all sports, $750 available. And again, that's at dubclub.win/r/Bobano. Sides, totals, player props every day on a daily basis. And if you're looking for a lower volume approach with just top plays and best bets only, then you can sign up at SoBet for just $9.95 per month if you want a lower volume approach. That is where the top plays are posted of mine each and every day at SoBet, available for just $9.95 per month. All right, let's get into we'll start with MLB, and then we'll get into college football for tonight. We'll begin with we'll begin with a game that's going to start in about 30 minutes. It's Oakland and Cincinnati. Ginn and Aguiar, the pitching matchup. Cincinnati minus 130, home favorites, 10.5 the total in this game. Very high total, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some offense. Last night, it was just a disaster for the two bullpens in the game between these two teams. They took turns coughing up a big lead, and it ended up with the Oakland Athletics on the winning end of a 9-6 victory over the Reds. Tonight, again, they'll send, it looks like, Ginn to the mound here for them in this game. We'll see how he fares here tonight in this one. Aguiar is someone that's pitched not that great, quite honestly, since he's been in the rotation for Cincinnati. I mean, he's 2 runs, 4 innings against Toronto wasn't great. He actually was a little bit better against Pittsburgh. What will we see here? JT Ginn for Oakland, kind of an unknown, hasn't started yet this year. I lean over. 10.5's too high. It's just not the value I'm looking for, but I certainly don't really trust either pitcher, so I'll still lean in that direction there with over 10.5. All right, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Charlie Morton, Christopher Sanchez, your pitching matchup. Philadelphia Phillies minus 165, home favorites, 8.5 the total. I like the Phillies team total over 4.5 here. I like the spot. They're coming off an absolute demolition yesterday. They got absolutely hammered by the Houston Astros, 10-0. It was a rough day for Taijuan Walker. He was absolutely awful. We'll see if he can turn it around, or we'll see if he can turn it around. He's going to have to go to the bullpen to do that. The Phillies just announced, that he went to the bullpen. Philadelphia will turn to Christopher Sanchez here in this game. It'll be interesting to see if he can pitch well. He's usually better at home. It wouldn't surprise me if he has a decent outing. His last two starts were pretty solid against the Nats and the Phillies. And Christopher Sanchez's overall numbers at Philadelphia, 2.18 ERA, very good numbers. Charlie Morton's actually pitched all right the last three starts, but I don't know if he'll pitch as well here against Philadelphia. It's worth noting, the last time he faced them here in Philly, he gave up 4 runs, 6 hits. Philly scored 8 runs in that game. So I do isolate the Phillies team total here over 4.5. It's a great bounce back spot after getting shut out and just absolutely crushed by the Houston Astros, 10-0 yesterday. So I like that, getting a team in a bounce back spot, especially at home. They do have the better pitcher on the mound. You can go Philly -1 run line or -0.5 first 5 run line too. I don't think those are bad options. I just prefer looking more toward the team total with the Philadelphia Phillies here, which you can get at around even money over 4.5. So again, I do think that Phillies team total over 4.5 is the way I would go about this game here tonight. All right, Toronto and Boston. Bowden Francis, one of the hottest pitchers going right now, believe it or not. Cutter Crawford for Boston. We've got the Red Sox -140, home favorites, 8.5 the total. I'm going to drink the Bowden Francis Kool-Aid. Look, I've been slow to come around to how good this guy has been pitching. I keep thinking he can't keep doing this, can he? But boy, he does. And last time, again, another great start, albeit it was against the Angels. But he's pitched awesome here the last 4 starts. 2 runs or less. He's given up just 4 runs in his last 29 innings or 27 innings. So he's been absolutely spectacular here for the Blue Jays. He's won the Player of the Week award in the American League. He's pitching great. I think he's probably, there's probably value with the Blue Jays with him as an underdog here in this game, especially when we factor in that Cutter Crawford has not fared as well this season as I definitely would have thought. His last 5 starts, he has a 7.3 ERA. Now, the last 2 haven't been as bad, but he's not pitching deep. He's still, giving up a few runs. The home runs are still an issue. Still been overall definitely a disappointing season for Cutter Crawford. And certainly you like the current form that we're seeing right now from Bowden Francis and the of the Blue Jays. So I thought taking +120 here with Toronto was not a bad bet, something to look at. Boston's won the last 2 games in this series. Toronto won the first 2, so it's kind of like the rubber match here between these 2 teams tonight. And I do think with Francis pitching as well as he is, I think it's worth a shot to take the Jays here, +120. +125 is actually available in some spots as well. All right, Kansas City, Houston. We've got Brady Singer for the Royals, Hunter Brown for the Astros. Houston -150, home favorites, 8 the total, shaded to the over here in this game. Hunter Brown's usually someone I want to back and someone I want to bet on. He's not someone that I'm ever rushing to bet against, but I'm telling you what, Kansas City just continues to be an undervalued team. I mean, it's been a great run for them. They've caught Cleveland in the AL Central. Now, Brady Singer's a problem and a concern. There's no doubt. I mean, he got crushed by Philadelphia, 5 runs, 11 hits in his last start. Did pitch well against Cincinnati before that, but also got hammered by Minnesota. Didn't pitch that great against Boston. Brady Singer hasn't had a great run lately, so that does concern me. Hunter Brown has certainly been the better pitcher. He's 2 runs or less allowed in 4 straight starts for Hunter Brown. But, I'm telling you what, I still think this Royals team, there's value with them. I'm going to do something I normally don't do, and that's back the team that probably doesn't have the better starting pitcher. Hunter Brown's form is better than Brady Singer right now. There's no denying that. But to me, there's something about getting Kansas City at +140, especially the way that offense is swinging the bat right now. And it's everybody, that's contributing right now. It's not just Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. has been amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you're seeing all the other players in this lineup step up and get the job done lately here for the Kansas City Royals. They've been swinging the bats well. Hunter Brown is still susceptible every now and then to a blow-up and a bad outing and giving up some home runs. And more importantly, Hunter Brown has not pitched well against Kansas City in the past. 2 starts for Hunter Brown against the Royals. He's given up 15 runs, 17 hits in just 3.2 innings. He's been absolutely clobbered, Hunter Brown, by the Kansas City Royals in the last 2 times he's faced them. So I think this could be a live dog situation here. Kansas City upwards of plus 140. I also like over the total here, over 8, because the way I see it, I think Kansas City can do a little bit more damage against Hunter Brown than what he's given up lately, especially with that horrible track record that Brown has against the Royals. But I also don't fully trust Brady Singer, who has just not had a great season and not been great lately. So Kansas City plus price. I also like that over, though. Over 8 minus 115. All right, next up, final game, actually, of this abbreviated remainder of the Thursday MLB slate. Baltimore Orioles, LA Dodgers. Cade Povich, no relation to Maury. You are not the father, Cade Povich. But the LA Dodgers with Bobby Miller, minus 145, home favorites, 9 the total here in this game. Cash to best bet winner on the Bet with Bobano show yesterday. Orioles Dodgers over 8.5. Couldn't be any easier than that. We said it. Corbin Burns stinks right now. He's terrible. He's not pitching like an ace at all. And we said we definitely don't think highly of Walker Buehler and the way he's pitched since returning to the LA Dodgers rotation. So nice to see it work out that way, as easy as pie with the over yesterday. I'm going to go back to it here. I don't like it nearly as much as far as the over here with the Orioles and the Dodgers tonight, but still have 2 of the better lineups in baseball. Cade Povich has been a mixed bag, is the best way to call it, since he's been in the Orioles rotation. Same thing goes for Bobby Miller. You're never quite sure what you're going to get from him, and he's facing a Baltimore lineup. And the one thing Bobby Miller's had some issues with in the past, hard hit rate, home runs have been a problem at times, and that's the one thing Baltimore does have in this lineup, plenty of power. So I do think these 2 teams can combine for probably a lot of runs again tonight. Again, not nearly as bullish on the over with them tonight as I was last night, but I still think over 9's the way to go here with this matchup here, the Orioles and the Dodgers. All right, there you go. That's MLB. Let's turn our attention to college football. This is the first night of, I shouldn't say the first night of the season, but it's the first night of the first full week of college football action. We have 2 games tonight with FBS teams facing off. One of them is on Fox. It's a big one. It's North Carolina, Minnesota, ACC versus Big Ten. North Carolina now 2-point road favorites, 51.5 the total. Look, there's going to be times throughout the course of the season where you see a line movement and you're going to agree with it. And there's going to be some times when there's a line movement in a game and you disagree with it. For me, this line movement is the latter. I disagree with it. I'm not ready to lay points on the road with North Carolina. I'm not a Max Johnson guy. I know he's been around the block, LSU, Texas A&M. It's now going to be his 3rd stop, his 3rd home here with the Tar Heels. He's a decent quarterback. I don't think he's phenomenal. He's not very mobile. There's questions with the offensive line for North Carolina coming into the season, and Minnesota might be able to get some pressure and wreak some havoc with their front 7 against this questionable, shaky North Carolina offensive line. We'll see if they can run the football. They do have a good running back, Amarion Hampton. But there's questions right now at North Carolina on the offensive line. Look, the way I see it with Minnesota, people are worried a little bit about their secondary. Can North Carolina exploit? It's a question. And there's people worried about their offense. And I think they're worried about the offense for Minnesota because of what they saw last year. It was not a very good offensive team. We all know that. But one big reason why they didn't have a good offense last year is no longer there, and that's the Greek Stallion. Athan Kaliakmanis was just not a very good quarterback for Minnesota last year. The quarterback play was subpar. They bring in a New Hampshire transfer, and I know he's an FCS quarterback coming in here at Minnesota, Max Brosmer, but this is a guy that was one of the better FCS quarterbacks last year, had a really strong season. His numbers were great. Now the question is that going to translate now to tougher competition and the FBS ranks? But I actually think they made an upgrade at quarterback getting rid of Kaliakmanis and going to Max Brosmer. It wouldn't surprise me to see him play decent. Just be solid, don't make mistakes. And I still have to see this North Carolina defense play better. We know defense has been their problem. You even go back to when Drake May and Sam Howell were the quarterbacks. They still didn't have a great defense. They had to ask the offense to carry the team. It's still a defense I worry about here on the road. And again, let's see from Max Johnson. You're replacing Drake May. And there's probably a big gap between what we might get from Max Johnson and what we got from Drake May here at North Carolina. So I actually think Minnesota as a dog is the way to go. Plus 1.5, plus 2. I'm neutral on the total. I kind of think if Minnesota gets better quarterback play, they might play some more overs this year. But I don't know if I want to rush into an over with Minnesota here right away, the first game of the year. 51.5. Neither team is going to play, I think, a brisk pace. So for me, it's a neutral on the total. I think Minnesota, if their offense does look good here, it might be more a team that maybe plays some overs because you're not going to get very high totals with Minnesota because of the way they've played for the last few years. But I want to see what that offense looks like first. All right, we move along. Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State. This is a damn good group of 5 game, between these two teams. We got Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks, 3.5 point home favorites, 54.5 the total. This game actually opened with Jacksonville State 5.5 point home favorites, went all the way down to 2.5 below a field goal. And now the last 24 hours, we've seen the money come in again on Jacksonville State. I think at 3 or better, I like Jacksonville State. I'm a little leery north of 3 laying it with Jacksonville State, but I'm going to have to see it from Ethan Vasco. He played all okay last year at times, but I've not read great reports about the Coastal Carolina offense nor their offensive line in spring and fall camp. So that definitely concerns me about going on the road against a Jacksonville State defense that does have to replace their quarterback. They go to Logan Smothers this year. That does have to replace some pieces on a defense that was very good last year, one of the better defenses in Conference USA. But I still think Coastal Carolina, that offensive line is a work in progress. Let's see how they do on the road here in this environment. Jacksonville State, too, is a very good home team last year. Rich Rod is usually very good in season openers in his head coaching career going back many, many years. You see what he's been able to do. So I still think Jacksonville State wins this game. Can they cover now 3.5? I still lean that way, too, but I definitely liked it below a field goal more. I still think Jacksonville State, I trust them a little bit more. I would need Coastal to be where they were at the opening line. 5.5, maybe even higher to consider betting Coastal Carolina here in this game. I still think there is reason to think Jacksonville State's the better side here in this one. A couple of games from the added board. I'm just going to run them through quickly. Fordham Bowling Green should see points. I think Bowling Green's going to have a hell of an offense. Connor Bazelak's probably one of the most experienced quarterbacks in Group of 5 football this year. All his years at Missouri, multiple years now here at Bowling Green. So they should score a lot of points. But Fordham's a very solid offense, so I think they could maybe chip in there too. So I understand that total going up in that game. I like the over in the Arkansas game against Pine Bluff. Bobby Petrino takes over as offensive coordinator. Talon Green at quarterback, the Boise transfer. They're going to play a little faster, more tempo. So I agree with the total going up 57-59. I don't think Pine Bluff's going to get many stops. 28.5 I took with Duquesne against Toledo. I'm a kind of anti-Toledo this year. They lose Daquan Finn. It was a pretty good quarterback for them. They're not very good historically covering these big numbers under Jason Candle as home favorites. In fact, you go back the last 2-3 years, Toledo's been a disaster as big home favorites. So I think Duquesne here, can hang around in a big point spread like this, getting 4 touchdowns. Murray State, Missouri. Look, they're betting the hell out of Missouri here, but Missouri's not done well in these FCS opponent games where they've won a lot of them by just 20, 25. They've not come close to winning a game by 50 points. So I had to jump in. Murray State's not good, but I had to jump in for a little bit on Murray State once that got to 50.5. That's another total that's been hammered up. I agree. Probably should see a lot of points there as well. Lindenwood, Kansas. Lindenwood's really bad for an FCS team. This could get ugly. I can understand Kansas taking money and the over taking money there. Speaking of overs taking money that I like too, Southern Utah and Utah. Cam Rising's back. Look at the difference he'll make. It's such a better offensive team now with him back. I think they'll be able to put up points galore. Southern Utah does have a very, very experienced, strong offensive line, though. So they might be able to hold their own better than you would think against that great Utah defensive front. And I could see Southern Utah, especially if Utah gets up by 35, 40 points at some point. Southern Utah gets some garbage points late in the game to push that over the total. So over with the two Utah teams there at 55. I actually got a great number on that, 52.5. It's gone up to 55. And I think at 55, there's still some value on that over. I don't know if I trust Luke Altmaier as a quarterback for Illinois to be laying 4 touchdowns against albeit a mediocre FCS team, but still a little brother in-state team, Eastern Illinois. They're going to want to play well tonight. I don't trust that offense enough, quite honestly. So I did grab a little EIU, Eastern Illinois, plus 28 against Illinois in that game. Now, this one's been hammered. A lot of people are onto this, that San Jose State's going to be a pretty bad team this year. Total rebuild. Ken Niumatalolo has got a big job ahead of him. They lose everything. A lot of pieces from last year. Defense not going to be very good. I think offense, they've got their share of question marks as well. I don't think they're particularly strong in the trenches either. San Jose State and Sacramento State's a pretty solid FCS program, and you can see why they've taken money. Like San Jose State's basically close to pick 'em now. I didn't even get the best of the number because I think Sacramento State was +7 at one point. I got in at +4 on Sacramento State, but you can't even get that anymore. It's all the way down to 1.5 here with San Jose State. But that's an FBS team you can probably put on upset alert tonight against an FCS team, because I just don't think San Jose State's going to have a very good season here. And I understand why Sacramento State taking some money there. If you're looking for some FCS opinions here, I do lean a little bit to VMI as a dog against William and Mary. I think they're a little bit better than that point spread indicates. I think Youngstown State against Villanova as a dog might be worth a look. Youngstown State lost in the FCS playoffs to Villanova, so you got a revenge spot. They did a nice job. They lost some pieces from last year, and Villanova's very good. They do deserve to be favored, but now upwards of double digits. I think Youngstown can maybe be a little bit more competitive there in that game. So there you have it. Quick hitters with the first Thursday night of the college football season here in week 1. And what a weekend it is for college football. You got games tonight. You got games tomorrow night on Friday, a full slate on Saturday. You have a great LSU-USC game on Sunday night, and then we wrap it up with Boston College, Florida State on Monday night. So great weekend to be a college football fan, and it is great to have college football back. Speaking of college football, again, one more time, if you're looking for all my college football positions and wagers throughout the course of the season, there's your subscription options at Dub Club. 1 month all sports, $75. 3 months all sports, $200. 6 months all sports, $400, which is probably the best one right there because it gets you covered for the full football season. 1 year all sports, $750 is outstanding as well because it goes September to September. You've got football, hockey, basketball, complete seasons of all three covered if you go 1 year. All football, NBA college basketball, NHL hockey, September to September subscription, 2024 September to 2025 September. I mean, and 750 is pretty good. I mean, a lot of sites and handicappers will charge more than $1,000 for 1 year. 750, all things considered, like I say, and long term, you actually save more on the 1 year all sports 750 when you compare it to 1 month all sports $75. So check all that out. Dubclub.win/r/Bobano. 22 units of profit, NFL and college football combined last year. Small profits so far on the year in MLB, profitable in CFL as well to this point. So make sure you get on board, dubclub.win/r/Bobano. And one last time, too, about our friends at sponsoring the show, our good friends at BitWallet. Bitwallet.bet/affiliate/Ian. Football season's here. If you're looking for a crypto sports book, I highly recommend this one. It's a great book. Live betting, same game parlays, live casino dealers, full array of sports betting options. Bitwallet.bet/affiliate/Ian. Click that affiliate link, sign up for an account, and you'll be eligible for a 50% deposit bonus on each of your first 3 crypto deposits at BitWallet. All right, best bets. It's been a great week with best bets. Phenomenal on the show. I don't think we've lost one yet. This season, this week, I should say. Let's see if we can keep rolling with the best bets here tonight. Let's go. We got to go college football. We just do. I mean, I know there's some decent baseball bets on the board, but it is college football. we got to go in that direction as far as a best bet for this slate. Let's see if we can find something that's still at a relatively decent number, because there's been a shit ton of line movement, and a lot of the bets that I've already placed, I got better numbers than what's out there right now. So that's the concern. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go with Minnesota. Let's do it. Let's do the Minnesota Golden Gophers. +2 is the best number out there currently available. I think they win that game. I'm not trusting North Carolina on the road or Max Johnson. Brosmer, great quarterback at New Hampshire in the FCS last year. I guess it's just a question of, can it translate now to the FBS ranks? But I think considering you lose a generational talent at quarterback and Drake May and a defense that's still shaky, that's asking a lot, in my opinion, putting North Carolina out there now as a road favorite. Minnesota +2 for me. We'll go with that. College football best bet here on Bet with Bobano. A shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy the games and good luck. Have a great Thursday night. Cheshire Cat, good to see you again. Yes, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, three-peat. You're a big Chiefs guy. I know that. They could do it. They're motivated to do it. And they got the quarterback to do it. So I wouldn't rule it out. It's not easy. I get it. It's not easy to win the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. But, man, if you're going to pick any team and any quarterback to do it, it's him and it's them, because they're a well-oiled machine. They know they have a chance to make history. Winning 3 Super Bowls in a row is special shit. If they can somehow find a way to pull it off, they're going to be right there again. Unless, of course, one Mahomes injury and everything changes. But as long as he does not get hurt, they are going to be right there again. There's no question. So I get that. Good to see everyone else too. Bankroll Spence, Jorge, Herrera, Timothy, Philly Eagle Flyer, Al, Mary Rose, everyone in the StreamYard or in the chat, I should say. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. And we thank all of you that watch Bet with Bobano on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, on either Facebook, Twitter, X, or YouTube. That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the show and hope you have a great Thursday night. Welcome back, college football. We've missed you. Looking forward to a great weekend of college football starting tonight. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Bet like Tony Soprano. Bet with Bobano. And we will see you again tomorrow on Friday for another edition of Bet with Bobano.